हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा. Let's start with the prayers as others are joining. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं सहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सगणलिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते स्वामी. ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष मुरारी पाश्चात्य मुखं करोति वाचालं भंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं. हरि ओम. Hare Krishna. So, welcome, and we are continuing our Katha of the Srimad Bhagavat. Seventh Canto. Today's focus is chapter 9. This chapter is a chapter full of the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, which he offers to Lord Narsimha. In the last few classes, we have been discussing how the beautiful pastime between Prahlad and his demoniac father, Hiranyakashipu, the archetypal demon and the archetypal devotee, the perfect devotee, the worst possible demon, worst in motivation, worst in extreme in power, control. So whenever the Lord performs pastimes, he will usually, the demons will be benchmark demons, and otherwise no fun for the Lord to appear. If somebody from this world can say, hey, I could have also managed to tackle him, and then no excitement. Why should the Lord come? So the Lord comes for very extreme scenarios. And the Lord also, within this beautiful story, has embedded his pure devotee Prahlad Maharaj and expanded the glories of Prahlad Maharaj through this very, very beautiful pastime. Prahlad Maharaj became so glorified because he was born in the family of demons. Had he been born somewhere else, perhaps, and not gone through the kind of challenges which Prahlad went through, being the son of Hiranyakashipu, we perhaps would not have seen the story unfold the way it has. And if he was not subjected to these kind of challenges, even though from a character perspective he would have been equally wonderful, Prahlad's transcendental qualities wouldn't have shown out and become noticed by the world and recorded for all time to come to inspire us and many generations since time immemorial. So, of course, we are so grateful to Vyasdev and all the acharyas for recording these beautiful pastimes. Bhakta, Bhagwan, and Bhakti. That's what Bhagavatam is. So, this chapter is almost the culmination of this particular exciting climax. We discuss how Hiranyakashipu finally concluding that Prahlad cannot be fixed, nor is he ever going to change. In his words, he's like a dangerous cancer. Correct? So sometimes like a cancer has to cut the limb. So in my family, Prahlad is the cancer. So that is the nature of demons. That's why sometimes even great devotees or even sadhakas, even in this times, rather than appreciating, even in today's world, even rather than appreciating that their son or their relative or their friend has become a devotee, and saying, wow, devotee is such a rare thing, so wonderful. Sometimes parents and close relatives and friends, they become disgusted. So that's uh, ignorance at best and demoniac nature at worst. So this is not new, but the contrast in this pastime and the super excellent qualities, both positive and negative, of the characters involved in this pastime are such that they make the whole pastime so very exciting to hear and discuss and bring out very wonderfully the futility of material attainment, which is epitomized by Hiranyakashipu, and the perfect adequacy of a fully satisfied devotional character like Prahlad, who is always absorbed in the Lord and fully dependent on Him. We discussed how after Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlad, he stopped after a while, hoping that things will change, but they didn't. Prahlad was continuing to instruct in school in the absence of Shanda and Amarka to his other fellow students, and they started becoming devotees. So there would be some occasions where Shanda and Amarka would walk into the classroom and a Bhagavatam class would be going on. Prahlad is giving and other students are listening with rapt attention, not arguing with him, with rapt attention. And other times they were all chanting and dancing, singing the holy names. So finally they brought the case to Hiranyakashipu's notice and said, sorry, we give up. Your son thought he will improve, but we give up. So feeling very helpless and hopeless, Hiranyakashipu finally decided to kill his son. And at that time, that beautiful pastime happened where he said, from where you get the strength? I get the strength from the same place where you are getting. Where is your Lord? He's everywhere. This powerful Lord that you are getting strength from, where is he? Everywhere. Oh, is he in this pillar? And then to fulfill these divine words of Prahlad, Satyam Vidhatum Nijabhritya Bhashitam. To make true the words of the great devotee Prahlad, the Lord appeared from the pillar. Initially with sound effects, first the roar came out, literally shook everyone. A lion's roar is terrifying enough to make people's trousers wet. What to speak when Narsimhadev, who's the perfection of all potencies, when he roars, the whole universe trembled. The pillar burst and the Lord appeared. A very interesting duel ensued. And I'm not going to go into the details because we have discussed that. Finally, the Lord saw that the right time has come to uphold Brahma's benediction. Sometimes people ask, is it that the Lord couldn't have killed Hiranyakashipu otherwise? Lord could have killed. The Lord's power supersedes the benedictions by Brahma and Shiva. But the Lord decides to honor the benedictions given by his great devotees, and the Devatas as well as the big Ishwaras like Lord Shiva and the creator Brahmaji. The Lord doesn't want the words of his representatives to go in vain. So the Lord was waiting for the right time, and when the time came, easily without any effort, because until that time he was running away, he was capturing him, and Hiranyakashipu was thinking, hey, maybe I have a chance. And the Lord was simply giving him a false hope, like a cat sometimes gives a false hope to the mouse by letting him loose and then again capturing him. Finally, when it was dusk, the Lord said, now is the time. The Lord easily, helplessly captured Hiranyakashipu, kept him on his lap at the entrance to the home, neither inside nor outside, neither on the ground, neither in the sky, not with weapons but with nails, in a form which is neither man, nor animal, nor devata. So keeping all the conditions that Brahmaji had granted to Hiranyakashipu, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu, and the Lord was so ferocious at that time. He ripped apart the body of Hiranyakashipu. He pulled out his intestines. He wore them around his neck like a garland. He plucked out his heart and threw it on the ground. Then finally he threw his body off his lap down on the ground. Even after that, the Lord's anger was not subsiding. And that is where this chapter starts, chapter 9. Narad Muni, who's narrating this beautiful pastime to Yudhishthira Maharaj, is saying that Brahmaji appeared there, Lord Shiva appeared there, all the other devatas, they came. They saw that even after killing Hiranyakashipu, the Lord was not passive. The Lord was so angry. And he was so angry that all the devatas hesitated. Even Brahmaji and Lord Shiva also hesitated to come and approach the Lord. So Brahmaji, he saw that amongst the gathered great personalities was Lakshmi Devi. Oh, we are still a little distant from the Lord, but she's his wife. So maybe the wife can pacify the husband. So Brahmaji went and requested Lakshmi Devi that your husband, we are worried that he's so angry, so furious that unless his anger is pacified, it may create destruction for the world. So they were expecting a positive response from Lakshmi Devi, but Lakshmi Devi told them, sorry, I can't help you. Why? Because I have never seen my husband in this form. This is very, very extraordinary, and so is his anger. I am also scared to approach him. So they are all really now in a fix. The most mighty of the devatas are refusing. The Lord's wife is refusing. But Brahmaji is very intelligent. Brahmaji is thinking, Arey, the Lord appeared here not for Lakshmi, not for me, Brahma, not for Shiva. Whom did he appear for? For whom is he angry? He's angry because Prahlad was attacked. And he came to save Prahlad. So who is it that can make the Lord peaceful? Prahlad. The Lord Brahma went to Prahlad Maharaj and he told him. Prahlad Maharaj was standing very close to Lord Brahma at that time. And he said, oh, my dear son, Lord Narsimhadev is so angry at your father Hiranyakashipu. Please, we need your help to bring down the temperature. Please go forward and pacify them. Prahlad Maharaj, even though thinking himself very insignificant and unqualified, understanding the situation and accepting the instructions of Brahma, slowly he proceeded towards Lord Narsimhadev. He came close and he offered his Dandavat obeisances by prostrating himself at the lotus feet of Lord Narsimhadev. Lord Narsimhadev was so angry. Then he suddenly noticed Prahlad at his feet. His transcendental divine feet, his beautiful pink toenails. And suddenly the heart of Lord Narsimhadev became filled with parental love, Vatsalya, for Prahlad. From the mood of extreme anger, he suddenly saw his son, whom he saw as his son, Prahlad, come so near, affectionately approach him. His heart suddenly became overwhelmed with, with ecstatic affection for his devotee Prahlad. Narsimhadev immediately picked up Prahlad. Picked up means raised him up, made him stand first. And he placed his Varada Hasta, his lotus hand, which is always blessing. He kept it on Prahlad's head. Why? Because the hand of the Lord, this mudra of the Lord is known as Abhaya mudra. When the Lord does this, it's also blessing. It's also Abhaya. Abhaya means don't fear. Don't fear. I am here. All is well. So the Lord is always eager to create fearlessness in all his devotees. As soon as Lord Narsinga placed his lotus hands on Prahlad's head, the Lord's full body is transcendental, fully spiritual. It is condensed, Ghana Brahma. This transcendence in dense form. As soon as the Lord touched Prahlad on the head, instantly Bhagavatam says, Prahlad was completely free from all contaminations and desires. Prahlad was already very exalted. But having a material body and a material mind, one may still, even after lot of sadhana and being very advanced, some little remnants. That final touch of irreversible perfection, where absolute, complete, thorough cleansing is achieved, is done by that touch of the Lord. And in the conditioned world, in the material world, even very advanced souls, just by virtue of the body and the mind, having a material body and a mind, some level of contamination, unless one has reached the stage of prema, very subtle, not gross contamination, very subtle, subtle ignorance or subtle desires may still remain and stop and create impediments for the living entity to achieve the transcendental platform. That is why that element of devotion is very important, because that is where the pull of the Lord's ability to just clear that last remaining traces, which is very difficult simply by sadhana to get rid of. So the Lord's touch did that. Completely free. The Bhagavatam says Prahlad felt as if he was thoroughly cleansed. He at once became transcendentally situated. All symptoms of ecstasy manifested in his body. His heart filled with prema, his tears were coming to, rolling down his cheeks from his eyes. And now it is said, Bhagavatam says very nicely, now with great ease, he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart and hold it there. Very interesting. So that special grace of the Lord is needed. Some things cannot simply be attained simply by sadhana. Doesn't mean we don't do sadhana and just wait. Let me wait when Narsimhadev will come, pat me on the head. Maya will kick us on our back. We will not get patted on the head. So we have to do our part. The Lord will do what we cannot do. He will give his final touch. The final touch is important. Right? Even for Prahlad, even for Dhruva, the Lord touched his conch shell on Dhruva's head. You know, all knowledge appeared. He started glorifying the Lord with beautiful poetry. Prahlad was so overwhelmed and situated in such a wonderful transcendental state. And with that perfectly cleansed consciousness, free from any inebrities of matter, he was able to fully meditate without any distraction on the transcendental form of the Lord, almost like a samadhi-like state. And instantly, with a faltering voice, choked with loving devotion towards Lord Narsimhadev, Prahlad Maharaj started praying, offering prayers to Lord Narsimha. So these are very beautiful prayers, and in fact, almost the rest of the full chapter, or the majority of this chapter, is this prayer that Prahlad Maharaj uh, offers to Lord Narsimha. And these prayers are very, very sweet. And I've mentioned this many times, but I don't mind mentioning it again. Oftentimes, sadhakas in their early days think, oh, prayer section has come. Story has taken a stop. Let us skip all these prayers. Go to the story. Story is interesting, exciting. But more than the story, it's not that the story is not important. Story is also sweet, a lot of nice lessons. But within the words, the prayers of the devotees and how the Lord reciprocates with them and speaks back to them, the heart of the devotee and the heart of the Lord are revealed. And that is very important for a sadhaka to understand. What is the consciousness? Because we are not just interested in the external thing, external aspects of sadhana. Many people can externally try to emulate at some level the aspects of devotional practices. But what is that consciousness? What is that attitude? What is the quality of that surrender? What is that quality? What is the quality of humility? What is the quality of dependence? In front of the Lord, all these things pour out in the form of prayers from the lotus lips of these great devotees. And if you really want to understand the deeper aspects of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, these are excellent places from where to pick up these gems, especially from personalities like this. And of course, the Lord's response itself is also so instructive and full of so much wisdom about how the Lord deals with these kind of great souls. The first thing that comes out from the mouth of Prahlad, just imagine what is Prahlad's stature. What has happened until now? Nobody in the universe was able to deal with Hiranyakashipu. But just to save Prahlad, the Supreme Lord took this form and came into this world and killed Hiranyakashipu. Nobody else was able to even pacify Lord Narsimha. Neither Brahma, nor Shiva, nor Lord Lakshmi, nor Goddess Lakshmi. But Prahlad was able to pacify. So, can you imagine actually, Prahlad was, like the hero of the evening. It was already evening. It was just dusk. He was the hero of the evening. Of course, hero on the other side, the main hero is, of course, Lord Narsimha. But on this side, Prahlad is the, is the man of the day, so to say. Prahlad was not at all feeling like that. He was not feeling, yes, I did it. Yes, I got hold of the Supreme Lord and I made him come to save me. I hope everybody has seen and everybody has captured videos, photos. Please put on your vlogs tomorrow of how all this went so wonderfully because of me. Nowadays, what to speak of humility? People create imaginary stories to capture videos to, promote themselves and others. Prahlad takes such a humble attitude in front of Lord Narsimha and very genuine. And there's no deceit. And sometimes when we say, "Oh Prabhu, I'm most fallen," 99% of the times we don't mean it. We are trying to be humble, we are trying to act humble. That's okay. As long as we are not doing it just to gain some appreciation, that is still okay. We are trying to be humble. That's okay. This Prahlad is humble at the very core. In fact, when a living entity becomes thoroughly purified and very advanced, the natural quality which develops in the soul without trying is this kind of humility. And this humility is a result of having true insight and realization of the greatness of the Lord and the insignificance of oneself. Once we realize, then we come to, what do I have to be proud of? Whatever little people may claim I have is also given by the Lord. What do I have to be proud of? Prahlad Maharaj goes even one level lower. He doesn't even say that I have something wonderful. He starts by saying, "It is so amazing, my Lord. How was it even possible for me? I am born in the family of Asuras. How can I? Brahmaji told me to offer prayers to you. I am born in the family of Asuras. That is Brahma, firstborn. Shiva, Lakshmi, so many other devatas. They are so qualified to offer you prayers. How can I offer you prayers that will satisfy you? Huh? All these devatas have been trying to satisfy you. They haven't been able to satisfy you. So what is my competency? I am not at all qualified." So his very first statement. He doesn't take it as a glorification that, "Oh, I am great. Now I will do this job." I've been instructed by Brahmaji, so I'll offer some prayers. May you be pleased, but actually, uh, what is my qualification? And Prahlad Maharaj says, "Oh Lord, you know, no matter how much wealth one has, how much big aristocratic families one from, how beautiful, how much austerity, renunciation, knowledge, influence, luster, physical strength, uh, even mystic powers, great intelligence, no matter what extraordinary opulences a person may have, how can any of these qualities actually satisfy you, O Lord? They come from you only. All these that we may have, how can we hope that we can impress the Lord? Sometimes, as sadhakas, we think by doing a big service we'll impress the Lord. "Oh Lord, I did this." But what the Lord is impressed is not by the big service in terms of its outcome. The Lord is impressed by our diligent seva with humble attitude, with a sincere desire to please Him and His representatives. And that can be achieved even with small from the perspective of the external world, small attainments or big attainments, whether it's the effort of Hanuman or whether it is the effort of the squirrel. And immediately Prahlad Maharaj gives one example from scripture. See, this is one of the other characters. This is what great devotees do. When they also give an example or quote something or say something, they try to corroborate it with other shastric examples. Even though their words themselves are Shastra, they do not take that position that I am saying. They say that position only rests with the Supreme Lord. So what I am saying is also proven by the devotional service of Gajendra. Some time ago, Gajendra, the elephant, the Lord became satisfied by him because of what? He didn't do any big sacrifices. He simply, in a very desperate, helpless situation, picked up a lotus flower and offered it to the Lord, saying a prayer which he happened to recollect from a previous life. So, elephant, just a few words. The quality of the call, the helpless call. That's why we recite this verse again and again, right? Janmaishware Shuta Shribi Edamana Madapuman Naiva Arhati Abhidatum Twama Kinchana Gochara. Those who become proud because of their wealth, strength, beauty, austerity, intelligence, whatever, which is actually given by the Lord, no real reason to be proud, but because of false ego, those who become proud, they are unable to call out to the Lord with a sincere, surrendered heart. Only a person who feels himself genuinely helpless and dependent on the Lord can call out like Naiva arhati abhidatum tvam akinchana gochara. So we are not against wealth, we are not against beauty. So if you are beautiful, you don't need to go and say, Prabhuji told me in this class, beauty is a problem. So make some black marks on your face. Or you don't have to become poor to be a good devotee. We have to understand and appreciate that all these attributes, all these opulences are just of the Lord, from the Lord, and temporarily invested in us, ultimately for the purpose of engaging them properly in His service. And then Prahlad Maharaj says another thing. Says the Shastra say that there are 12 Brahmanical qualifications. But even if a person has all 12 Brahmanical qualifications, if he is not a devotee, if he is not sincerely taking shelter of the Lord, then it's a waste. It's useless. What is the point? The whole point of becoming, going through the ladder of being qualified is to lead us in the direction of ultimately taking shelter of the Lord. To dedicate everything. Manasa, Vacha, Kaya. With mind, words, activities, to engage one's wealth and one's whole life to the Supreme Lord. And if a person is able to dedicate himself in this way, it doesn't matter what his birth is. Doesn't matter whether he is able to perform all the purificatory rituals or has a, uh, aristocratic birth, Brahmanical birth, it doesn't matter. Such a person becomes truly dear to the Lord. And such a devotee is better than a Brahman, because a Brahman cannot even purify himself if he is not a devotee. And a devotee, even if he is not a Brahman, he can purify his whole family. So this position of false prestige is a very, very dangerous position. And my Lord, I must say something about your nature. Sometimes people think Prahlad is saying this, Lord Narsimhadev. So first thing he says is that, it is more important to be your devotee. Ultimately, you're not impressed by all these other things. And he says something very interesting. He says a lot of people sometimes think that they worship you and you are beneficiary of their service. Actually, oh Lord, you don't need their service. You are served by Lakshmi Devi. You are served in the spiritual world of Chintamani Dham. What can we give you? Huh? Is our just some coconut and some fruits and some abhishek, or even if it is big temples and big donation, it's all your property already. So you are accepting it, my Lord, whenever devotees offer to you, sadhakas offer to you, you are accepting it for our benefit. It's not your benefit. Some people say, why should we offer this to God? Why does God need our food? God doesn't need our food. We need to offer our food to Him for our purification and for our elevation. So God is kind. Can you match can any of us match the Vaikuntha cuisine or the Goloka cuisine in our kitchens in Malaysia, Mumbai, Bangalore, wherever we are? Either in terms of ingredients or the quality of preparations. Of course not. But the Lord says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Parayachati. Whoever offers. Ashnami Prayatatmana. I accept it if it is offered with love. Now Prahlad Maharaj gives a very beautiful example. He says, O Lord, Just like when somebody decorates one space in front of the mirror. Yes, I'm standing in front of the mirror and I decorate my face. Then automatically my image in the mirror also becomes decorated. You understand, right? That we are standing in front of a mirror, our image is there. When we decorate ourselves, the image of course gets automatically decorated because it's reflecting us. If we are decorated, the image is decorated. In the same way, my Lord Prahlad Maharaj is saying, when somebody offers devotional service to you, offers you flowers, offers, because you are the ultimate source and master of everything, including our existence, we are actually decorating ourselves by decorating and worshipping you, which means it's for my good, because we are your part and parcel. When the whole becomes happy, the parts automatically become. And that is why, my dear Lord, even though I'm born in a demoniac family, yeah, I will offer my prayers to the best of my capacity. But I have my limitations. But you are so kind. You are accepting my prayers. And just see here, who are these personalities here who have gathered Brahmaji? They are such sincere servants who have done such great services for you. They are not like me. I am the son of this demon. In fact, you appeared in this fearsome form of Narsimha as the purpose of your own pastimes. Because your own pastimes are actually the source of protection and auspiciousness for everyone. So after speaking these very sweet words, by glorifying Narsimhadev and submitting his own disqualifications, he requested Lord Narsimhadev, oh Lord, please, you appeared here. You appeared just to display your beautiful pastimes. But now the job is done. Now you have already killed Hiranyakashipu. So please cease your anger. There's no need to be angry. Of course, everybody is happy. When a scorpion or a snake is killed, all people become happy. So the whole world has already become pleased because you have been so kind to come and rid this world of this terrible Hiranyakashipu. And for all time to come, this very, very auspicious appearance of yours will be remembered by all people for all time to come. So, my Lord, your wonderful appearance has served its purpose. So, there is no need for you to remain angry anymore. Please, my dear Lord, please become peaceful. Who can conquer you, my Lord? You cannot be conquered by anyone. And actually, I am also not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue. Your teeth, this form of yours. When I look at you, your mane soaked with blood, your teeth, all these devatas are scared. Actually, I am not feeling fear because I know that your anger is not targeted towards me. You are always so affectionate to your devotees. Why should I be scared of you? I am so happy to see you. But your job is done. So our request is that you stop your tumultuous roaring, which even though is not fearing, if causing fear to me, but all the elephants all around are running helter-skelter in fear. Then again, very beautifully, he submits his own insignificance. He said, oh Lord, you are so kind to all living entities. Somehow, because of my own karma, I became born in this family of demons. This is very interesting. Sometimes even great devotees, because of certain very specific, either karma or the Lord's desire, sometimes are born in the family of demons or demoniac people. When I say demons, I don't mean necessarily big demons like Hiranyakashipu, but those who are opposed to the Lord. So I am amongst those living entities who, was born in such a situation because of my own karma. huh? So, what is actually the hope for me? Please, my Lord, when will that moment come for me that I will actually attain the shelter of your lotus feet, where I will actually be free from all conditional life and attain the supreme perfection? Actually, note that by this time, Prahlad has already been granted that. Correct? We started the class by saying that, the Lord touched his head. Any small remaining contamination was totally wiped out. But this is always the nature of the pure devotee, that even after perfection, a devotee still feels that he is not so qualified. And that is one of the qualities of those who are very, very advanced. It's a natural quality. And that quality is very dear to the Lord. So Prahlad, even though so perfect, still telling the Lord, as if he's a conditioned soul, saying, "Oh Lord, when will I actually become purified? When will you call me to your lotus feet?" Somehow, because of my karma and because of my attachments and repulsions, I have become trapped, sometimes to heavenly situations, sometimes in hellish planets, suffering, lamentation again and again. Please save me. Actually, this traveling, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, is so hellish, it's so miserable. And material life is so complicated and miserable, my Lord, that all the upay that people do to get rid of their miseries, actually, rather than helping them to get rid of miseries, cause more miseries. Because the only way to actually be free from misery is not by any material formula. The only remedy, real remedy, lasting remedy, is to engage in your service, is to become a devotee. So please instruct me in this service. So this is also a very, very interesting point. And this is a very important realization and understanding that ultimately the miseries of material life cannot be counteracted simply by material adjustments. Of course, in our day-to-day life, in this worldly life where we are interacting and there are so many challenges, I mean, at one level, we may have to do the needful at a material level to deal with the situations. But a devotee never loses sight that ultimately that is not the final solution to problems. Because when we try to take up only a material approach to material problems, we only perpetuate the misery. Because usually the solution to that problem, the material solution to a material problem, may apparently solve that problem, but that solution, because it is material, often creates other problems. There are many beautiful stories around this. We don't have so much time to go through it, but for example, I'm just giving a simple example. To get well from one disease, you may take one medicine, but that medicine itself will have side effects which will create other problems. So, material problems, Prabhupada would say, need spiritual solutions. Einstein, I think it was Einstein, if I'm not wrong, said a very beautiful statement, said, problems cannot be solved in this world by keeping our consciousness at the same level at which the problem is created. You want to solve it, we have to go at a higher level of consciousness than what created the problem. And that's essentially what Prahlad Maharaj is telling or mentioning in his prayers. The real final solution to all problems is to become a devotee. So please, oh my Lord Narsimhadev, please engage me in your devotional service in the association of Hamsas, that means swans, pure devotees. When I get that kind of an association of the Hamsas, I shall become completely free from this association of the mundane modes. And I shall always be able to chant your glories. I so much love to chant your glories. You're so dear to me. Huh? Following in the footsteps of these great souls who are standing here, Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, and all the others, huh? I shall also attain perfection, huh, by taking this path of hearing and chanting the holy names. So the only hope for living entities is to take shelter of your lotus feet. If they try the material conditioned souls just to improve their material condition through various material means, all these things will not only produce other problems, even the solutions will be temporary. And we are seeing in this world, my Lord, neither can a father and mother save one's child, protect one's child in all situations. Even with the good doctor and all medicines, the patients die. Even when a boat is there, people drown. So material nature is very complicated. Even with so-called means and remedies, they also do not always work. That is the nature of material existence. The only final fearlessness, the platform of fearlessness is by crossing over the ocean of material existence, which is possible only by the boat of your lotus feet. Otherwise, everyone who's influenced by the three modes, right from the ant up to Lord Brahma, everyone is influenced by this energy of yours. And influenced by these modes, bewildered by material desires, whatever concocted desires a living entity may develop, thinking that this will make me happy, that will make me happy. All these material concoctions and their pursuits and even success in those endeavors doesn't really actually uh, give any lasting benefit to the conditioned soul. So he offers many prayers, and net, the Lord says to Lord Narsimhadev that everything in this world is being controlled by you. Gross, subtle. In fact, this whole material world, which is composed of these various uh, material manifestations and these modes and these elements, all these are nothing but your energies, oh Lord. Actually, everything in this world, this whole world is nothing but a manifestation of your energy. You are the controllers of your energies. You are never conquered by them. You have full control. Actually, in one sense, this whole world is not different from you, oh Lord, isn't it? Huh? Through your agency of Kala, time, you agitate material nature, which is inactive. You make it active. The modes become active through the agency of time, and this whole manifestation comes. This manifestation is nothing but an extension of you in the form of energy. In one sense, it is you, but at the same time, you are different from the manifestation of this world. Foolish people see this world as independent of you. Just like sometimes there may be a tree which manifests from a seed. When the tree manifests, the seed apparently appears, even though it is the cause, it apparently disappears. Actually, seed is the cause of the tree. Similarly, you are the supreme cause behind this cosmic manifestation. This cosmic manifestation is your energy and you are controlling it. That's why even for being happy in this world, ultimately we need your grace. My Lord, I have seen in this world generally people want, are chasing after going to heaven. They want long duration of life. They want a lot of opulence, a lot of enjoyment. And I have been fortunate because I've been born as the son of Hiranyakashipu to see through the activities of my father how he tried everything to enjoy the best of things in this material world. He had captured the kingdoms of the Devatas. Who can enjoy more than my father? Greatest opulence, greatest enjoyment, his life, practically unlimited lifespan, control over everything. He was so powerful, he was so extraordinary that even when he would raise his eyebrows, the devatas, whom everybody is chasing and worshipping to give me, give me, give me, give me, those devatas are shaking in fear when my father looks at them and raises his eyebrow. But that powerful Hiranyakashipu, my lord, I have seen today. Effortlessly, you tore him to pieces. So see, why should I take shelter of the devatas when the devatas are shaking in fear from my father who was killed effortlessly by your nails? I have seen through this material nature. I have seen through, by being in this family, I have seen through everything. And it's also a very interesting point because those who are children of very rich, powerful people, they see through the illusion of money. They see through the illusion of fame. They see through the illusion of achievement and success. And they realize that that is not going to give me any lasting happiness. Not that everyone realizes it by being in that situation, but if somebody has that spiritual insight, that situation can actually help one understand. Because unfortunately, if I don't understand, then in our life, somehow we will continue to feel that if I had become so famous, if I had got so much wealth, maybe I would have become happier. Or maybe I would have attained that what my heart is longing for. But Prahlad Maharaj says, I have experienced everything. Being the son of Hiranyakashipu. Complete experience, worldly opulence, not only all mystic powers also I have full experience. All material pleasures I have experienced. All the kinds of pleasure from and to Brahma, whatever people enjoy, I have experienced. I've seen through your power as time, everything is destroyed. That's why, Lord, I don't want any of this. I know these are all just illusory enchantments which will only bewilder the living entity and keep him trapped in material existence. So, my Lord, I am not going to ask you for anything like that, like what my father asked when he pleased Lord Brahma. My request to you is going to be very simple. Please keep me always in touch with your pure devotees and let me serve the pure devotee as a sincere servant. That will be the cause of my supreme good fortune. Very interesting. That is the kind of realization that we are all looking for. Huh? That is the firm faith which is needed for making tangible spiritual progress. Firm understanding of the futility of material nature and firm faith that by adopting devotional service, by taking shelter of the lotus feet of pure devotees, one can cross over this ocean of material existence and no amount of happiness in this world, up or down. It's not that today I'm poor, so I'm not excited. Suddenly I become rich. There used to be one lady who used to attend my class. This is a story of almost 30 years ago. So she was in great distress. I'm not going to read it. She had a lot of family issues and nice person, very nice. Otherwise, very educationally qualified, and she would come. She was in a lot of distress. I was trying to counsel her, and she would come regularly. She would do some seva. After some time, she stopped coming. So I said, "What happened? You were coming earlier regularly now." Oh, no, that time I was very distressed. Now that problem for which I had come has gone away. There's no need for me to come. So unless one has this kind of deep understanding and appreciation of the futility of material existence, sadhakas may get waylaid either by material attainments or sometimes even by massive failures and disappointments in life. Both have the capacity to dislodge one from devotional service because they both have a capacity to distract, either through depression and disappointment or through allurement and defocus from spiritual life. So this deep realization that no matter, I have seen it all. Now some of us may say, Prabhu, how I can see it all? Do I have to wait to become Hiranyakashipu's son until he appears next time? No, not necessary. If we follow the process of sadhana bhakti, purify our heart, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we associate with sincere devotees, if we eat Krishna Prasad, if we worship the deities, if we render humble, sincere service to the Lord and His devotees, then in due course, through the process of purification that will happen in the heart, the realization of the futility of material existence will automatically dawn. To get direct experience helps, but it is not an absolute necessity. But Prahlad was in that special situation where he could see it firsthand. He could see that his father, after attaining it all, was also so disturbed because he had his uncontrolled senses. So for us, it's not a disqualification. In fact, to remain humble with that amount of power and opulence is actually very difficult. Actually, it's a greater danger than a benediction. So why should I look for this kind of a mirage in a desert, oh my Lord? Every living entity wants future happiness, but they are looking for this happiness in this body. This body is just a source of disease. It is a lump of clay. Actually, many philosophers know this, but practically when we see them, oh Lord, they are busy in trying to enjoy the body and the mind for temporary happiness. So bewildered. They don't understand that the real problem is their uncontrolled mind and senses. So please, my Lord, bless me that I will never be bewildered like that. So please be kind on me. Actually, Lord, you are really very, very kind. Actually, some people say that you have favoritism, but actually there is no favoritism in you, my Lord. You actually don't even discriminate between friends and enemies. You are equally disposed to all living entities. Krishna says this, right, in the Bhagavad Gita. Samoham sarva bhuteshu nameddeshosti na priya. I am neither hating anybody nor is somebody especially affectionate. Ye bhajante tumam bhaktya. But whoever worships me with devotion, they are in me and I am in them. So you are transcendental. Everybody is on part and parcel. Why would you need to do partiality for you? Everybody is yours. Everything is yours. And in fact, there is nothing beyond you. You in terms of you as the person and the extension of your energies. Ultimately, you reciprocate just with our consciousness, our attitude towards you. You offer benedictions based on how individual living entities approach you and how they render service. They render service, you offer them your love. They go away from you, you stay away. You want to remain away from me, I remain away from you. You are simply reciprocating. People unnecessarily blame you. You are just giving them what they desire and deserve. And Lord, I must say, some people are saying that I am very great devotee, but I must tell you, my Lord, I was born in a very, very dangerous situation. And I had full chance of falling into a blind well full of snakes. But your servant, the pure devotee Narad Muni, was so kind. He saw my fallen condition and he delivered me. He accepted me as his disciple and he instructed me how to elevate myself to this transcendental position. Whatever I am today, if anybody is giving any credit, all credit goes to him because he saved me. That's for my first duty is to serve the lotus feet of my spiritual master. How can I give up that service? That is all I want. I just want to remain a humble servant of my spiritual master. Oh my Lord, then he says another very interesting thing, and then we'll conclude. He says, when I'm saying that you are simply reciprocating with people, you are neither their friend nor their enemy. Actually, you are a well-wisher to every living entity. Let me give you an example of my father himself. People may think that you hated my father, that's why you killed him. No, it's not true. Remember, my father had said, he told me in front of you If there is any supreme control other than me, Hiranyakashipu is saying, let him save you, and I shall sever your head from your body. So, Lord, you simply reciprocated with what he said. You reciprocated with what he said, and you reciprocated with what I said. You manifested the truth of your omnipresence by manifesting from this pillar when my father challenged whether you are here. So, Lord, in this way, you are simply reciprocating with living entities based on their faith and devotion or their lack of faith and enmity towards you. Nobody can blame you. You are equally available to everyone. Nobody can say because of their material condition you are not available. There is no material condition which disqualifies a person from devotional service. For bhakti, there is no disqualification. So nobody should criticize you. Nobody should criticize you as being partial. So I'm going to stop here. We have around 30 verses completed. There are some more philosophical points which he's discussing. So we'll keep that in the next class. We have roughly covered slightly more than half the chapter. So I'm going to take a break now, and then we'll continue and complete the chapter in the next class. Yeah, so I'm opening up for questions. Yeah, Suresh Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have two questions. Prabhu, this Narsimha prayers which is offered in ISKCON, right? So, which Purana has this prayers, Prabhu? The Namaste Narsimha.
Good question. I don't remember on top of my head whether it's from Narsimha Purana or does anyone remember? I may have to check.
No
Who
problem.
composed these prayers or in which scripture this is this specific prayer which we are chanting, right? Namaste Narsimhaya,
Yeah,
Prahlad, Allah Dadaine.
yeah. And Prabhu,
yeah.
in the same context, now in this pastime, Narsimha is shown as Ugra Narsimha and Shanta Narsimha, right? Both, right, Prabhu?
Ugra Narsimha is the form of Narsimha as soon as he comes out from the pillar.
Okay.
As soon as he becomes pacified by Prahlad, after Prahlad falls at his feet and pacifies, then he's no longer Ugra. He's Ugra up to the time that he's not pacified. From the moment of his appearance from the pillar to his tearing Hiranyakashipu, killing him, and then still remaining agitated for a while. Because after killing Hiranyakashipu, he also killed so many other soldiers of Hiranyakashipu who attacked him. So for some time that Ugra mood remained. But once Prahlad fell down in front of him, like what we discussed today, he became immediately peaceful. His affection became prominent and his anger receded in the background.
Prabhu, the last question on the same context. I was going through Ahobilam, right? It has 9 roops of Narsimha Lord, right? Where we can get those details, Prabhu? Right.
You want to know what are the 9 forms and their stories?
Yeah.
I think there are books around that, or definitely on the net. There is quite a few articles, and I don't know on top of my head. We are fortunate to visit the Nava Narsimha in Ahobilam. So I think some other devotees in this class have also visited. Karanja Narsimha, Yoga Narsimha, Ajwala Narsimha, who's the main Ahobila Narsimha. So many Narsimha forms are there in different mudras and moods. Yogananda Narsimha, a lot of wonderful. So there are many temples around the Ahobilam area. There is a Nava Narsimha. And there are pastimes associated with them. I do not remember them on top of my head.
No problem.
But yeah, I think if you do some search on the net, you'll be able to find. I believe one devotee, I think his name is Dhruva Prabhu. Long back, I think he had compiled. I think there was also, if I'm not wrong, an article that he has written in Back to Godhead many years ago on this topic. So do a little bit of this thing, and there are
I'll find.
definitely videos as well. Yeah, yeah. So we accept the Nava Narsimhas and their glory. Yeah. So you
Yeah,
can.
Prabhu, this is a more generic question, Prabhu. I just need your guidance. See, we don't know like who will be a devotee. Like you had said, I have to have the same experience. We might be thinking this person will become devotee, but he will never become devotee. And other person, you will think that this person will not even take Krishna conscious, he might take it. So my main question is, Prabhu, like, should we keep on giving books even though we are not able to judge who is a devotee, who is not?
Yes.
And okay. And another main question, Prabhu. See, I have given, I'm not trying to boast myself or something. I I have gifted people Bhagavatam. Initially, they used to read and they have stopped. So, is it right to ask them to give it Bhagavatam to someone else who is really willing to read it?
No, it's not. Once you have given donation, you should not. It will be offensive for them. Once you have given them,
Hmm.
then that's okay. If somebody else wants to borrow from them temporarily and read, that's okay. They may happily give. See, the thing is, the transcendental books and the transcendental literature, they have their own unique way of finding their recipients.
Yeah, very good.
So I have come across Prabhupada's books also, oftentimes in other people's homes, and
Okay.
read from there. huh? So the Lord has His own way. huh? See, we have to be careful not to, unnecessarily offend others. Unless they themselves say, Suraj, I'm not reading this. This is useless. Do you think there is somebody else who would be interested?
Yeah,
But
one of the person has
yeah.
said me the same thing, but I said no, it is as good as Krishna coming to your house. So yeah,
No, but if there is a willing recipient who's directly by themselves wanting that, and this person is saying that, I don't think I can relate, then it's a different issue.
yeah,
Then it's a different thing. If they themselves say, that's okay. huh? But what I'm trying to say is, we don't know. And many people have become devotees not because they received or bought the book themselves. They came across the book somewhere.
in my house, same thing. My sister had a book. Nobody had read it. I read by myself, actually. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah,
True,
thank
true.
you, bro. Hare
So many
Krishna.
of us. Yeah, yeah. Same for me also. Somebody else bought the book and they said, "Oh, I'm not going to read this. You take and read this." They gave to me. They gave to me when they were in their 30s. They told me, who was 10 years, that, I am still young. I will read when I'm old. Now you read. So, yeah, I read. Then one thing led to another. So, yeah, you never know. So that's why Prabhupada wanted his books to be distributed as far and wide as possible. And then the rest the Lord will do.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, thank you, bro. Hare Krishna.
Hare- Yeah, yeah, Tarun. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Guruji and Pranam. Yeah.
Hare
Guruji, I have a few questions. I just one question basically, Prabhuji, on the Nirvisheshwadi. I was reading the Upanishad and then I just got this question. So ultimately, the destination of Nirvisheshwadi is a Brahma Jyoti, where they simply wanted to go, and it's outside the boundary of Brahman. So ultimately, they are entering to the gate of, maybe I may be wrong. So they are ultimately basically entering into the space of Krishna. So why this is being considered wrong? Prabhu? Means ultimately they are living, they are doing good karma to reach to the
Sorry,
Brahmajyoti.
sorry, who are you talking about?
Nirvisheshwadi Prabhuji.
No, they go to Brahman and they merge into Brahman. We are not saying Brahman is bad.
No, no,
You know,
Brahmajyoti is the Prabhuji. Is that the same
Brahman
thing?
is Brahma Jyoti, yes.
Okay,
Brahma
okay.
Jyoti,
So,
because Brahman is effulgence of the Lord.
mm-hmm.
Jyoti is the border. Conceptually, of course, Brahman in one sense is all pervading, but conceptually we say, the platform of Brahman begins from the beyond the Viraj, and then above that Brahma Jyoti, where only the Brahman shines, are the Vaikuntha planets. In fact, the whole spiritual sky is Brahman effulgence. In fact, Vaikuntha planets, in one sense, you can say, are floating in Brahma Jyoti. You can almost say like that. Yeah. So we are not saying it is bad. We are saying that that is spiritual suicide. Yeah, spiritual suicide. Why? Because you could have developed a personal relationship with the Lord and enjoyed so much. Huh? Correct. So for example, when we are sick, because of overeating, we are sick. Then one state is fast and keep fasting and feel good by fasting. The other is recover from the disease and then continue to taste wonderful, tasty items for all time to come. So Brahmavadis are interested more in eliminating material existence. So we are saying eliminating material existence is only half the job done. The remaining half is to develop a positive relationship with the Supreme Lord, because only that will satisfy the soul fully. So that is not very intelligent. And when one merges into the Brahman, then one basically goes into a state of almost, like a spiritual suspended animation, for a lack of a better word, where one, is just floating for practical eternity there without any hope of, attaining the rasa or the mellow of pure devotion. So that is why those devotees who are tasting the rasa of bhakti, and they warn the sadhakas that there is something much higher than this. Not that that is bad. That is, the Brahman is definitely much better than material existence. But if one is simply going to be trapped in that state with no hope of attaining bhakti, then might as well remain in the material world a little longer and cultivate bhakti and attain the highest destination. Right? In that sense.
Prabhu, one question. Just like we have families and friends, and they are just like we are, they are also in the material world, and they are just doing all those sadhana of devtas to get the material benefit. So they are getting more attached. So we just want they should also listen us. So as soon as we tell them, like, if you do this activity, this narka will come for you, and this narka will come for you, they stop talking to us. So I want means they should not so much attached at this age, and they should go beyond. But how to help them to come forward? So this is generally gets difficult.
Yeah. So each person is different. There is no one answer for everybody. So what we should avoid is to make them feel small and take a condescending attitude and a critical attitude. Then they will go into a shell or withdraw or go against. We have to try to see how they can develop some appreciation for Krishna consciousness. Look for elements of Krishna consciousness that they will enjoy and like more. So some may like deities and their darshan. Some may like nice prasad. Some may like kirtan. It is not initially important to convince them on all aspects. Only those who are ready will be receptive in that manner. But if you sense that they are not receptive, just look for that common ground that will appeal to them. And Krishna being pure, Krishna is like that sweet mango. You bite the mango from any side, it will be sweet. Depends on how they can relate to it. Then they will develop a positive appreciation. And once they get connected to that aspect, gradually through the purification that will happen, slowly their misgivings on other aspects of Krishna consciousness will eventually go away. So you have to give that time, give them that space and time, and encourage them in the positive aspects. Sometimes we are very eager to find out their faults. So rather than telling others what they should not do, we are very eager, especially when we start following these principles. We become very eager to tell others, I am following, but you are not following. In bracket, I am better than you. Sometimes we develop subtly we develop that mentality. So before the don'ts come the do's. Some people, the don'ts may work. Sometimes there have been people who, when they are told about hell, they become so scared that they take to spiritual life. But that formula doesn't work with everybody. A better generic approach is to get individuals attracted to some positive aspect of devotional service first. The don'ts will come later, and they will find out on their don'ts also in due course. If they ask you, you can tell, but you don't have to chase them on, you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong. You can speak in a more generic way, but see what is it that they will like. Some people like philosophy. Some people are not interested in philosophy. They just like kirtan. Some like nice cultural programs. Some like books. Some like prasad. Some like deities. Some are so attracted and enamored by some devotee's spiritual character that they are so attached to that person. They want to hear, they want to meet him, they want to talk to him. That attachment to a devotee also is very purifying. So there can be many ways. Yena kena prakarena manha krishne niveshaya. That is Rupa Goswami's advice. In whatever way. So an expert preacher is not one who wants to, shove down devotional service. मुंह में ठूस के ये पूरा package में अभी I want to feed you the full course of everything today itself. So yeah, so a mature preacher knows or understands, and sometimes that comes with experience, with some bad experiences also. It takes time to understand. See, we are not interested in, if our motivation always is, what can I say to this person? This is the question you should ask. What can I say or advise to this person so that he will take the next one step towards Krishna? I don't have to necessarily tell him what is wrong, what is everything of what is good. So based on what we know of him, and sometimes we may try something, it may not work, then we have to change. That's okay, because we may not always know every person so thoroughly that we know exactly what will appeal to him. So, so if we are close enough or we have sufficient opportunity to interact with them, over time we will find out, oh, what is it that you like? They will say, oh, I love music. Oh, the greatest musicians come and attend Hare Krishna Kirtan. Recently, this group Coldplay, they came to Radha Gopinath temple, and they were sitting in front of the deities of Radha Gopinath, and with the brahmacharis they were doing Kirtan of Hare Krishna. Really? My heroes. Whatever that guy, Chris, somebody, I don't know that group, but apparently they are very famous. What is this Kirtan? I also want to, So you have to figure out what excites people. So that's why there are unlimited ways to be attracted to Krishna in terms of various services and various aspects. There are also unlimited ways to engage in Krishna service. So an expert preacher is discerning to see. And actually, if in our consciousness we are sincerely wanting to help the person, sometimes, especially as new sadhaka, sometimes our mood is to instruct and, with the mood that I am better than you, I am a devotee, you are not a devotee, I am, that attitude is very strong. I had that for quite some time until I realized that, this is not the right approach or attitude. But when we are having a genuine desire to help, Krishna gives us the intelligence. Sometimes we say something which we also don't know why we said, and that appeals to a person. I have sometimes, not that it always happens, but I have sometimes met people who tell me, "Prabhu, you remember 20 years ago, you had told me in this conversation this thing, and it changed everything for me." And I'm like, really? I don't know what I said, why I said. I said something. So we want Krishna to use us as his instrument. So we have to understand, our smartness is limited. Krishna's smartness is unlimited. So if we depend and if we have the right motivation, Krishna will give us the intelligence. And sometimes the person may just not be ready for it. It's a function of many things. But still, when we try, there is some devotional impression left on that individual. And in due course, it may manifest. Sometimes it takes many years. Right? Yeah. So keep doing. Just make sure that we don't become condescending. We focus on the positive aspects than the negative aspects. And always wish for the welfare. We are not interested in showing the shortcomings of the other person. That all other people in the world are doing from a material perspective. We want to have a consciousness of trying to help. Okay? Hari Hari. Yeah. Sridevi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So,
Prabhuji, what is the difference between Narsimha Pranam and Narsimha Kavacha Mantra, Kavacha Stotra?
Kavacha Stotra is from the Brahmanda Purana. Kavacha Stotra is a very detailed prayer of placing various mantras of Lord Narsinga on various parts of the body as a kavacha to protect his body. Narsinga prayers is a much more simpler, compact prayer of requesting overall the protection for the Lord. So especially in ISKCON, we are more focused. Nowadays, of course, the kavacha has become popular, but during Prabhupada's time, it was not common. So there are so many prayers and so many, stotras across the scriptures. They're all bona fide. But for us, especially for Lord Chaitanya's followers, he especially asked us to chant the Narsinga prayer that we chant in the temple every day morning. Namaste Narsingaya. And that is very powerful. So Narsingadev, as I mentioned earlier, is not just a destroyer of problems, he is the protector of devotees. And when we say protection of devotees, we are not talking about protection when some demon attacks from outside. Dangers in devotional service are from inside also, and from outside also. So we need all-round protection to remove all obstacles which come in our spiritual life. Which may actually become obstacles on our path for attaining pure devotional service. So, so one may say, why? I'm already worshipping Krishna. Why Krishna is telling me to chant Narsimha prayers? The thing is, in certain forms, the Lord is especially predisposed with a particular mood, and he reacts faster, responds faster in that mood. Correct? We are also smart, right? When we want to ask something from someone, we make sure he's in the right mood for that ask, whether it's our spouse, our father, mother. Because when we ask something and it tallies with the mood of that person, then it will produce a positive effect. So some aspects, the Lord in certain forms is especially in the mood to deal with. And Lord Narsimha is, Krishna in that mood. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa. So he's Keshav who has accepted the form of Narahari. So, so we don't see that this is a different person. Yes, it's a different manifestation. It's a form that Krishna has taken to protect his devotees. So when we worship the Lord with that mood, then we are actually approaching Krishna only. We don't see any difference in that way. The same person. So if you ask me, my strong suggestion is at least chant the Narsinga Pranam every day. Kavach is optional. Many temples will do Kavacha on the Narsinga Chaturdashi day. There will be some special enthusiasts who want to do Kavacha every day, up to them. I mean, there's no criticism in that. But that is not, an expectation or a standard requirement in our line. Does it answer your question?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari. So may Lord Narsingadev protect us all. Yes, Tarun Prabhu has some obstacle which he wants to remove.
Actually, I have a list of questions which I could not ask in few classes.
Sorry, I
Can
can't
I ask
follow.
now?
Tarun, can you speak a little softer? Your voice is echoing. I can't make out what you're saying.
Can you hear me okay now, Prabhuji?
Yeah, just speak a little softer. Yeah, the voice is reverberating for some reason.
Okay. Prabhuji, एक minute.
It's very loud.
Can you hear me okay now, Prabhuji?
Yeah. Just speak slower, then I will be able to follow.
Prabhuji, actually, I listed questions, and I could not ask last few classes. So that's the reason. Prabhuji, this question basically, again, as I was reading the Upanishad and in the conjunction of Gita, and so one of the question that comes that we should not do the puja of devatas. That's I understand, and that is also we discussed today in the class. The second point, in the Gita, it is being written that कृष्णा कहते आई विल स्पीक इन हिंदी नाउ कृष्णा कहते हैं कि जो किसी भी रूप में पूजा करता है वो मेरी ही पूजा करता है और मैं उसकी बुद्धि उसी रूप में स्थिर कर देता हूँ तो उस केस में तो देवता की पूजा भी गलत नहीं हुई ना प्रभु जी
No, see, you are picking up one verse. Read the verses around that verse. He says, avidhi purvakam. Krishna uses the word avidhi purvakam. यानी वो मेरी पूजा कर रहे हैं, but बिना ठीक से जाने समझे कि actual position क्या है देवताओं का. Because nothing is beyond the Lord, no? Because they are empowered agents of the Lord. So we are not saying that is wrong. Wrong from what perspective? It's not, sinful, or it is not, Hare Bapre, he has done. No, it is not. It is, Krishna says, less intelligent. Why less intelligent? When do we say somebody is less intelligent? Huh? When he can achieve the same purpose or much more by doing the same worship to a different person, then if he's, like I have the king and his servant in front of me. Correct? मैंने दरवाजा खोला, मैंने बेल बजाया, दरवाजा खुला. Let's say I go somewhere. The king is standing and his, minister is standing. So because I don't know who's the king and who's the minister, I am addressing my request to the minister. Correct? And the minister is becoming embarrassed. अरे भाई king बाजू में मेरे को क्यों बोल रहा है? Boss is here. And ultimately, whatever you ask me, I need his sanction only to give to you. That's what Krishna says, na, in the 7th chapter. Boss. And I am only in charge of XYZ department. Your request is beyond my department. Even for my department, your request have to take boss sanction. So Krishna is saying that those who are intelligent can directly worship me. And not only will they get the benefit of that blessing if it is good for them, but simultaneously, because I am all pure, they will also get purified and make spiritual advancement. So we should not say that it is wrong. We say that wrong from the perspective of pure devotional service. What is wrong is to consider various devatas as independent lords who can give something independent of the desire of the Lord. That is a problem. There have been situations even in the Mahabharata where Lord Krishna himself has told, for example, Arjun, he has told Arjun, Shivji ki prarthana karo, go and worship him and get this particular benediction from him. So if Lord is saying, then yeah, we'll do. Because the Lord sometimes feels, the boss may feel, okay, you want this? Yeah, yeah, मेरा department ये इसके, मैं उसको बोल देता हूँ, he will give you, but you go to that counter. That's okay. As long as we understand that Krishna is the supreme person and he is the ultimate giver. Mayaiva vihitan hitan, Krishna says in the Saga. Ultimately, I am only giving. So, devotee who is knowledgeable of Krishna's real position and the Devata's relative position to the Supreme, they feel ki, yeah, let me be Ananya. Why should I go here, there, knock on this door, then knock on that door? I know the boss of all bosses. When somebody asked Prabhupada, have you ever seen Indra? Prabhupada said, when I know the king, why should I go to the Chaprasi?
प्रभु जी यहाँ पे जो मेरा एक थॉट प्रोसेस जिसमें मैं थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हो रहा था कि I need suppose I need some help from in one department So should I reach out to the department or should I disturb the Supreme Personality? Means I was getting confused
If
there.
no, you should approach the Shastras for those who are interested in pure devotional service. They should always approach the Supreme Lord. Sometimes even pure devotees may approach devatas to seek their help to become better devotees of Krishna. That's a different issue.
Okay.
Correct? So, for example, Shivji, I will sometimes pray to Lord Shiva, but not that Lord Shiva is the independent Lord. That he's a manifest, he's an Ishwar, he's a form of the Lord with a particular purpose. So he can bring us closer to Krishna. So if we approach them by understanding that they can facilitate our journey towards the Lord, that is not a fault. You understand? With that mentality, you can approach and pray to any devatas. It is an offense to neglect and disrespect devatas. That is very important to understand. You cannot just pass by a devata and say, "Yaar, main tere taraf nahi dekhta. Tu kaun hai?" Of course, Prabhupada is saying like that just to make us understand philosophically the position. Please do not go and tell a devata, "You are chaprasi, I am going to the king." Don't do like that. Because devatas are very great devotees of the Lord. So just like we respect all Vaishnavas, they are very, very hugely empowered divine beings, even though some of them may not be fully pure devotees. But to offend them is to offend the Lord, because they're the Lord's representatives. So we don't need to approach them. If we approach them, we can approach them to seek their blessings in pure devotional service. And if we happen to be in an environment where they are worshipped, then we should offer them proper respect. That is the sum and substance. Okay?
It helps.
Hari Hari. Okay? So happy Shatrila Ekadashi to all the devotees. And thank you all very much. So I'll let you know. I hope we can have the class on Tuesday. If any changes, I'll let you know. Tantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. By the way, before we end, Nagaraj Prabhu has joined. So Nagaraj, welcome. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the class. And please keep joining.
Wow.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Wow.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Archana ji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Tulika Mataji, Suraj,
Hare Krishna.
Shalini
Krishna
Mataji,
Prabhuji.
Tulika ji, Sarvalakshmi Mataji,
Prabhuji.
Srini ji, Shidvi ji, Tarun, Haribol. There is Puja Mataji is busy, looks like, today.
Yeah. Actually, she is basically teaching Krishna painting to kids for now. Today is a batch going on. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why she could not join.
Sorry, Anand Sundari Mataji, Ravindra, Prabhu, thank you, Ram,
Krishna
thank you,
Prabhuji.
Neha ji, Haribol, Sridhar ji also. Bhaskar, as always, smiling. Thank you.